Hi there, I'm Evan Lawson. I am the Artistic Director of Forest Collective, and I'm talking today with our amazing saxophonist, Ali Fyffe. Hi, Ali.
Hello.
How
Hello,
are
hello.
you?
I'm good. Well, I'm as good as we can be when we're all stuck inside.
Yes, so a little context. It's the 5th of September, and Ali and I both are in Melbourne, which is still under very strict lockdown. So um, the rest of Australia seems to be having a jolly good time, and we're sitting around twiddling our thumbs, waiting for the world to reopen. It's like I saw the other day that West Australian Symphony Orchestra did a concert like on Wednesday or something. How wild is that?
Wow, it's actually strange to see friends in different states doing things. Um, I'm like
Yeah.
pretty jealous, but it is weird, and I wonder how it's going to feel to actually go out again. If it'll
Yeah, well,
feel wrong.
we had that like little flirtation in June, and then
Yes.
it's taken back. Um, I want to jump back a little bit to before the lockdown. We were like we had just launched the Asia in Focus program, which was curated by yourself and was like a bit of a farewell to Melbourne because you were meant to move to the UK, weren't you?
I was clearly that the world had other plans.
Yeah.
Um, so, and my husband was already there as well. He went over pre-pandemic, so we were separated, and which was quite stressful because we didn't know when we were going to be reunited and whether it would be there or here. And in the end, he came back, which was lucky because I'd cancelled our lease, but they let me take it back again. So we didn't have to move, but
Right.
I'd gotten rid of heaps of stuff. So it was a weird limbo time for actually quite a long time. Um, yeah, obviously limbo for everyone in a lot of ways, but particularly limbo for me because I didn't even know what country I was going to be in. And then, yeah, of course, the
Crazy.
concert, like everything just had to get cancelled.
Yeah.
And I remember talking about that, like online, and we were like, we're just going to, you said as well, it's sad, but we're just going to have to do it. We don't want to do something like this online. We hadn't started rehearsing yet. And we saw a lot of people, I remember a lot of people were doing their concerts online. And I think that's nice if they had been practicing already and they were already really close, you want to be able
Yeah.
to present that, right? But when we hadn't even started yet, it was like, it's not the same. It's
Yeah.
just not the
And
same.
Forest is very woodwind heavy and brass, and we have singers, and at that stage we still didn't know what the sort of parameters were around. I think it's different if you're a string player, and it's different if you're a string quartet, or it's even different if you're an oboe and a piano. You can distance and you've got other options open to you. But if you're like a 15-piece ensemble, predominantly air blowers, it's there's going to be risk there. And I think that was a big thing with like a lot of audience reactions being like, oh, well, why don't you just do it online? It's like, well, there's still a risk putting people into a room and there's a risk of having 3 people in a room, let alone 15, which that our program, it was going to be large group of people in a room. So
Yeah.
we had to call it off. We just couldn't do it. And
No, it was too risky. I mean, and no, if you had a
yeah,
big room with everyone 2 meters apart, that 15 people that's spread over like 30 meters worth of space. I mean,
exactly.
and how is that supposed to work when we're
Yeah.
normally playing so tightly with each other? There's so many cues, like you can't look across the room and really tune with someone properly, or yeah, no.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, Forest Collective is predominantly, voluntary, like all any money we make is spread evenly throughout the group. And so if we're putting something online for free, how do we monetize that and provide
Mm,
people with a financial incentive to risk their time at an incredibly um, disruptive period when that was my thing is like, you guys need to be prioritizing your time to make money, not doing a project where you're going to get nothing. So that was also for me, it just didn't feel fair to ask people to give up their time at that, at the beginning of such a wild ride that March, April, May was.
yeah,
But
and
anyway,
continue to
we're here
be.
now. Yeah, exactly. But we're here now with the goal of putting lots more content online. Um, so this project, I'm titling this series of videos, The Forest at Home. So we're
I
celebrating
like
at the
that.
moment 11 years of Forest Collective. And did a very successful fundraising campaign. So thank you to those who donated. And because of that, we are able to do this project. So you will be playing a piece for us. What piece? Tell us about the piece. Tell us what you're going to play for us.
All right. So I'm sort of playing a piece, and I'm sort of combining it with my own thing. I have done water related things in a couple of forest shows where I have a hydrophone, which is like an underwater microphone. So I can play and it picks up the sound through the water, which gives it a very surreal, spooky sound, but it also picks up sort of kinetic sounds a lot more than wind sounds. So when you've got the saxophone underwater, it's picking up the key clicks a lot more. It's picking up interesting overtones that you don't hear in the air. You only hear them underwater. And not even overtones, undertones as well. There's a lot happening. So the actual sound quality is really different. So what I've played is Scelsi's Tre Pezzi, which is super popular for saxophone and trombone and, you know, every other instrument as well, clarinet, everyone. And I'm just doing movements 2 and 3, but underwater, and it's going to be edited, and it's very spooky. And the reason I wanted to do this piece underwater, and I've wanted to for ages, is because I learned it for an audition, and I had a lesson with someone who said, oh, it's really cool if you start with something less than half tempo, like a quarter tempo, play it really, really slow and start phrasing immediately and gradually build up the tempo and take it too fast as well and try and phrase too fast. And then you get every tiny little subtle nuance. You can hear different combinations of notes at different paces, and it just opens up options instead of learning all the notes and then trying to phrase. And I was like, that's really cool. So I did that with Scelsi, and I heard so much, and it was really interesting. And the thing that I found though is that I liked it at a different tempo to what was written. I liked it really, really slow, and it just had so much more, I don't know, not more shape, but just different shapes, and it had different colors happening. And not long after that, I started doing a lot of the water stuff, and immediately I thought of Scelsi and just how spooky it was slower, and how it changed the energy slower, and how spooky the water is to start with. And it just seemed to make sense to me to combine them. And so I actually just recorded it this morning, and I've heard it back, and yeah, it is spooky, you guys. It's like,
Right.
It's really strange. Yeah. So don't expect it to be the piece you know and love. It isn't. It's very much like my take on the different overtones that came through with the water as well. So it's even instead of being, you know, it's got a lot of, like, say, you know, G's over and over again, lots of G's, lots of A's, but it sounds so different in the water that the relationship between the two as well, it doesn't sound like a tone, they sound miles apart, which totally changed the character. So it is, yeah, it's a spooky experimental rendition.
Amazing. Well, without further ado, let's have a listen to this reimagining of the Scelsi. I can't wait. Thanks, Ali.
No worries. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.